Hello, y'all. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and we're here on Brighter Day with A and
A.
All right, y'all, we're getting ready to talk about confidence. Episode 7 is communicating with confidence. And before we dive into our spill on communicating with confidence, we're going to bring you all our quotes. So let's go ahead and pull it up. You all can enjoy our beautiful graphic here, Brighter Day with A and A. All right, and today's quote says, Anna, would you like to give it a read?
To overcome fear is the quickest way to gain your self-confidence.
Beautifully said.
That is a beautiful quote, Aviana. Aviana found our quote this morning, and I really like that one.
Yes, to overcome fear is the quickest way to gain your self-confidence. And I'm going to tell you why I chose this quote, Anna. Because most of our lack of confidence, to me, I know mine, when I was trying to, gain my confidence and figure out who I was, it was fear. It was all driven from fear. I was afraid of what somebody may say, or I was afraid to take that risk or take that chance. So it was never that I couldn't do it. It was just that I was a little afraid to do it. And so once I overcame that fear, my confidence, shot through the roof. So and so I think that if you can put that fear aside and you can not let fear drive you every single day, then you're going to be great. And there's nothing, and from last week's quote, there's nothing that you can't accomplish if you do that. So I think that has helped me with my self-confidence, and that will help you all too, if you realize that it's mostly fear that is kind of holding us back. And I say fear, I should have put it in quotes, because you just should be afraid to live your life and embrace your life and take those chances and take those risks, because that's how you accomplish great things.
Okay, that is very good, Aviana. I completely agree. Well, a lot of people are scared of speaking. Public speaking, communicating one-on-one with other people. So according to Harvard, I assume they know what they're talking about, okay? 75% of people in the U.S.
75, wow.
Say they are scared of public speaking.
Okay.
Can you believe that? Are you scared of public speaking?
I'm not scared of public speaking. Does public speaking make my heart beat a little bit before I kind of get in the groove of it? Yes, but am I afraid to do it? No. Actually, I enjoy public speaking. Before I even started in my broadcast journey, like I always was the one to raise my hand or say I want to go first or volunteer, so I think that that came easily for me, but I can definitely see how that makes people terrified, because you're standing up in front of a large crowd, or even if you are just on the phone or behind the scenes or something like that, somebody listening to your voice and hearing you speak can be a little frightening.
Absolutely. So I'm not as scared of public speaking. Like, I could be in front of thousands of people speaking to people and not get near as nervous as going to a big event where there's going to be a lot of people. I have really bad social anxiety that I've had to overcome. So 40% of people in the U.S., according to Harvard, struggle with that. So just all around communication, people struggle with that. And so, because we are in the communication field, I thought we could share some tips and tricks that we have learned over the years throughout our lives to help you if maybe you think, that's me. There's no way I could get up on stage and give a presentation. Maybe you have to just give a acceptance speech. You win an award at your job and you have to get up on stage and give an acceptance speech. Or maybe you have to introduce somebody. Or maybe you play those icebreaker games, like sometimes in a meeting or something, when they're like, stand up and say what your favorite animal is and why. And your heart starts beating a little faster because you're like, oh gosh.
Right.
I know. We just want to help you not have to feel that way. So we're just going to give you a few tips and tricks. Does that sound good, Aviana?
That sounds great, and I'm all excited about that for sure. And if you all, just based on what we said so far, have any tips or any comments or any moment that you thought maybe, oh, I was a little afraid, but I overcame that, or oh, I didn't want to get on the stage, but it really wasn't that bad, we would love for you all to share that in the comments to show how your confidence has blossomed through your career and through your life so far. So I'll go first and just sharing a little bit of how far I've come in my confidence myself, and I think that it's always room to grow from that. Like, you could never have too much confidence, because I know from home, it started at home. I always had confidence. My aunt always told me, oh, this is so great, this is so wonderful. Just always the love and support from my family.
I can't imagine you not confident.
Well, thank you, Anna. I don't really think it's never been a time where I've never shown my confidence, but I felt that I wasn't as confident.
Okay.
And so I think it started in college. College was for sure when I was so nervous. I had a research project to do. This was my first research project that I had ever done. I was a freshman in college, the summer internship, and I was in DC. And we had these poster presentations.
Yeah.
And the lady came up to me. She was the first person to come to my station. And I looked at her and I said, ma'am, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I don't, and I just kind of melted in front of her. And
it happens.
And she thought I was saying, oh, I was overwhelmed because I didn't know my research or I didn't, know what I was talking about. That was not the case. I was so nervous because it was so many people.
And it defeated you instead of the other way around.
Exactly. It was so many people because they came up, and yes, even if you know what you're talking about, I still think you get nervous. Because I knew exactly what my research was about. I had worked on it all summer long. But when I was ready, I was standing there with a smile on my face. I was so confident. I was so excited. And when she walked over there to me, the first thing I said was, ma'am, I'm just so... And I was so nervous. But, she calmed me down. And I told her about my research. And I'm saying that to say that once you break the ice, once you get past that first fear of like, whew, I can't do this, and you really start talking and you get comfortable, it becomes a lot easier, and then your confidence really can shine through. But yeah, I was melting. I was like, I don't, and then I'll take a breath and move forward. I think that I've always been confident for sure. I didn't develop, excuse me y'all, my mic just fell off. I didn't develop I didn't develop a social anxiety for real until I started working in TV.
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Just the pressure of being in public and people knowing you and people coming up to speak to you, or like no trip to the grocery store is a normal trip anymore, or no little thing that you used to do normally is normal anymore, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but it just makes me a little anxious sometimes because you don't know if they're going to come to you and say, oh, I think you're great, you're wonderful, or they're going to come to you and say, you're terrible and I hate you, and I've never had that.
Hopefully they wouldn't.
Right, but you just never know, and it makes me anxious because sometimes
now you've given me a new fear, Aviaonia.
Sorry, Anna. And I don't mean to, but I think that, and then again, I say I'm not met with that out in public, anyway, but it's just a fear of mine because some people do say things, and I'm like, oh, what if I meet one of these people in person?
Face to face.
What if they really come to me and be like, this is what I feel and I don't like, and so I think that's why I started to develop social anxiety a little bit. But then I have to remember I'm confident enough to know that it doesn't matter what this one particular person says. And that goes back to the episode we had with Lindsay about how for every one bad comment, you have 1,000 more people who are loving and supporting you. So I think that's where my social anxiety did come from, though.
And most of the time, like if somebody says something negative, they want to hide behind a screen.
That's true.
They want to hide behind a phone.
That's true.
For them to come up to you face to face, that would really take some guts. Most of the time, people like that are very cowardly. So hopefully that would not happen.
Right? I hope that that's never the case right there, because I don't even know how I would respond. So
just
I hope
walk away. Right? Smile and walk away.
That's never the case right there. But I think that now, also being on TV, it gave me a lot more confidence. Like when I first started, it wasn't that I wasn't confident, I was more nervous. So my confidence couldn't shine through because of my nervousness. Like I was so nervous. I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to misstep. I didn't want to say anything wrong. And that's going to lead us into our next one about how do we continue to be confident even though we mess up. But I think that at first it was just nervousness shining through, and now that since I'm less nervous and I can do it comfortably, then my confidence is able to kind of show up more on air. And even when I'm out in public or speaking to a classroom or a group of kids or to anyone, really, the kids always say, and the kids surprise me the most. They're like, "You're so confident. Why are you so confident?" Yeah. And I'm like, you just gotta show up and do it. Show up and show out all the time.
Yeah. Well, you made some really good points. So when you had that experience in college, you were in DC, you were really nervous. Had you really memorized your research or tried to memorize what you were going to say?
So I think at that point, I had worked on it for so long, I could only memorize it. Like I knew, so I didn't necessarily practice or go over or like spend hours trying to figure out what I was going to say or prepping for what I was going to say, because I had did the research for so long. I'm like, I know exactly.
And that's good. So I found that, and then I researched this before we came on here, a lot of people overthink and over memorize their speeches or what they're going to say. It's more effective to just have bullet points, kind of like we do in our notes for this episode.
Right.
You have bullet points and you know kind of where you're going, but you don't have to rigidly follow every single word because you're like, oh my goodness, I missed a sentence, I missed a word, and then you mess up. But you did the right thing. But you know,
thank you, Anna.
that was a good point that I wanted to make. So that's a
great
good
point.
number one point is if you do have to give a speech, you have to give a presentation. Maybe you got asked to teach a lesson in your Sunday school class. Like it can be anything. It can be small, it can be big, but you just feel nervous about it. Do not memorize what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Just put value in what you do say and know your stuff.
Yes,
if you know your information, then just be yourself and start speaking, and it will flow out naturally. For sure.
I agree.
So I'm glad that you said that.
Well,
that
thank you, Anna. That was a beautiful what you
Yeah.
said there too. I think that's very important because if you put too much thought in it, now you're stressing about it. Now
Then you're gonna mess up.
Now you're bound to mess up.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah. So I definitely agree with that, Anna. And I think I'm glad that we can talk about this because on my side I don't read off a script, but I still mess up. And on your side you do read off a script, but
and
you
I
still mess up. So I think it's time for us to kind of talk about that. What do we do in the sense of we're on air, we're giving the weather or telling the news, and we mess up, but nobody knows it most of the time.
Yes.
That's the key. Nobody knows it.
And nobody's going to know if you mess up unless you tell them you mess up. You can tell them in multiple ways. You could say, oh my gosh, I messed up. Or you can say,
right?
you can have the expression, facial expressions, or you can just be like, and do it with your breathing or your tone of voice changes. So those are ways people can know that you mess up. So a lot of mornings I will get on the air and maybe it's not Monday, maybe it's Tuesday, and I say, good morning, it's Monday, and I just keep going.
Right.
It's not Monday, but I just keep going. And you know, I have told my mom multiple times, because she'll be texting me, you're doing so great, because she watches every show, you know. Mom is the #1 fan. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, I just messed this up. She's like, I didn't even notice. And she really doesn't notice because you just keep going with confidence and people won't even notice.
That is
so
the key.
That happens to me a lot. I say the wrong day, or I say something happened today that happened yesterday, but I just confidently just keep on going, you know, because you can't do a redo on the news.
No.
When have you messed up, Aviana?
This morning. I don't know if you all watched the morning show this morning, but normally my mess ups are more if my graphics aren't in line, or if I forgot to turn this graphic on, or if I do say something, like let's say I misstep and I say, today is Tuesday, right? I'll say Thursday instead of Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'll say,
all the time.
or I rather, you know, or I try to fix it and correct myself in a way that you all don't realize that I messed up, or I clean it up quickly so you don't realize, and I just keep moving forward. But this morning, I think it was in the earlier show, or maybe it was right before. Yeah, it was in the earlier show. At the start of the 6:30, and I forgot to turn off my Mr. Food graphics, right? My graphics right before Mr. Food, and I forgot to turn back on my Storm Team 11 Kids Color the Weather graphic. And so when I got ready to click, I noticed it instantly, right? So I rolled off screen. I went and changed the graphic, right? I kept talking. I kept talking. I didn't say anything. I didn't make a fuss about it. I went and changed the graphic back, and then I rolled back on screen, explained what I saw, and then I was like, oh man, I still have these other graphics turned on. So I had to roll back off the screen, click to the traffic cam, and then I just move forward from there. Nobody at home probably noticed nothing at all. They probably thought like, oh well, maybe, you know, she just wanted us to see the graphic in full image, and so I didn't make a fuss. I just kind of stepped off a little bit and stepped back on. And sometimes even like when my clothes, like my dress outfit to be flipped like this, I just step off screen, fix it, and just step right back on. But you know, I think that long as we continue to move, period, talk, say words
with
in
confidence.
General. Yes, confidently.
Not like, oh no,
they're like,
I just messed up.
Did y'all see that? Oh my god. You know, and that's, but let me tell you the difference between now and when I first started. When I first started, I would be like, oh Lord have mercy. You know, like, oh my god. On air, Anna, because one day, I kid you not, one day I could not get my words out of my mouth.
That also
and you
happens.
know, we have those.
Oh my goodness, yes.
We have those mornings, and so I was trying to say, I think it was like, we're talking about heat safety, and I was trying to get the words out, but the words would not come out, and I was like, oh my Jesus, that's right on air, and I was like, and I had to just stop myself and
Just
start over. But
you kept going.
I kept going. But even still, that was in my earlier stage. Now I can kind of gather myself a little better and, like I say, or I rather say, or kind of clean it up in a way that nobody knows that I'm messing up. Or I'm not apologizing because I said Tuesday instead of Thursday, or Thursday instead of Tuesday.
You just keep going. So people will not know that you messed up. And if they do know, they're still going to respect you if you have confidence and just keep on going. So don't memorize what you have to say. Just have bullet points and know your facts. Put value in what you say. And if you mess up, keep on going with confidence. And I'm telling you, 99% of people will not notice.
With confidence and with a smile. They're going to think you are right every time.
Exactly. That's literally what we do every single day.
Because some mornings we are cringing, and me and Anna would be like, "Oh my God, Anna, did you hear me say, or I messed up so bad?" And
I know.
But we know.
And then we're always like, "No, I didn't know you messed up."
Exactly. I never know. I never know when Anna messes up. Honestly, I never know. And Anna probably never knows. But I'm always like, "Anna, did you hear me say?" And she was like, "No, you did great." And, so again, with confidence and with the smile. Now, I'm not saying that means you get to be wrong all the time.
No. We are giving you accurate information. I guess we should have put a disclaimer on that.
Right.
We just are talking about little mess ups.
Yes.
If it was huge, we would let you know.
Exactly. No, we're just meaning, small graphics, small word change, interplays.
Little glitches.
Yes, little glitches that we have. And I think that's normal. I think that, I'm glad we're sharing this. I know I'm glad we're sharing this with them. We actually do mess up. We're not.
Every day.
We're not picture perfect in no means, no how, no way, shape, or form. We try our best 110% every single day, but we do mess up, but even if we do mess up, we're just saying that it's okay to carry on. You have to carry on. We can't mess up and be like, "Oh, well, that's the show," or "Oh, well, I give up because I messed up." You have to carry on with confidence, and when you have that confidence, it makes it a lot easier too.
Yes. All right, so one other thing, if you're in front of a big audience, you can use hand gestures, not too many, but it better connects with your audience and it gets that nervous energy out. And don't look at people in the eye. I never do that. You can look right here on their forehead or right on their hairline, and people think you're looking them right in the eye.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yes, I'm connecting with you." But you do not have to look at all the people if that freaks you out. You can actually imagine that you're talking to your friends, your mom, your family, your spouse, anybody that you're comfortable with. Just do it in a way that you're the most polished version of yourself.
I like that a lot.
And then you'll connect with your audience. You'll be the most polished version of yourself. You do not have to be nervous. And also just make sure you're taking some deep breaths. I forget to breathe sometimes. I did that in speech and debate one time. I almost passed out.
See, and you don't want that.
No, we had a 10-minute monologue, and I had to, give the whole entire thing. And I was my brain was going. I knew what was coming. It was fully memorized. That's probably the problem. And I'm telling you, I was like, at the end, because if you don't breathe, then, So,
I agree. I think that, even if you have your cup of water next to you, take that time to take a sip. You don't have to get every single word out and every single second, that you're speaking or saying something. It's okay to take a breath, take a beat, let people kind of digest what you're saying to them.
Right.
I know me especially, I speak quickly, and I speak quickly a lot of the times, especially during weather, because we're timed.
Right.
I'm trying to get all the information out to you all, but I speak quickly in my everyday just speaking anyway.
Right.
So that's one thing that I had to learn myself, is to slow it down, take a beat, take a pause, emphasize on the words. And I giggled when you said using your hand gestures, because I feel like I overly gesture sometimes. I'm always moving my hands and talking with my hands before even I started my meteorology career. So I've always been, always using my hands to talk.
But it helps you get that nervous energy out.
It really does. It helps you also emphasize your points better. So I speak with my eyes a lot too. I have a lot of facial expressions, especially when I'm talking about something that I'm very passionate about. So if I'm moving my hands and I'm showing you my face, you're engaged with me. Even if I never look at you, your eyes are locked on me. And I think that's a great part about public speaking, is can you stand in front of a room confidently and have the attention of the room for the duration of the time that you're speaking.
Right, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge, but also if you have those gestures, have that connection with your audience, move.
Don't be boring.
Right, letting them see your emotion into what you're talking about, and you really care about this, and I think that you'll keep their attention. And I never look anybody in the face. Never any eye contact. I always either find a spot on the wall, or I find something, or I'm always moving to the point where I'm never looking directly at somebody. Even if I glance up at the audience, my eyes are pretty much down. I'm looking out, but I'm looking down because I don't want to make that eye contact.
I just look right over people's heads, like right over their hair.
I feel like if
then
I
they
look
feel
over
like
their
you
head,
are looking at them, but you don't have to. Just look at their hair.
And see, most of the times, like when you give public speeches anyway, you're at a podium, or you're on a stage, you're kind of away from everyone, so it's kind of easier to mask that too, because you're not sitting so close and up personal how we are right now. Like if I was looking at you and I was looking at your forehead, you can tell.
Yeah, so we're talking about public speaking in the fact that it's a large group of people that you're talking to. We're about to talk about communicating in like more intimate social settings, but right now it's like a large audience. You are at maybe you have to give a toast at a wedding, like anything like that where there's a lot of eyes on you and you feel uncomfortable. So,
and that makes you feel less uncomfortable if you just find that sweet spot, find that one person, or find something to kind of focus on, and then that'll help you keep your flow of what you're thinking, keep your thoughts together, because if you're looking around at everybody, everybody's going to have a different facial expression. And what if you look at somebody in the audience and they're like, I don't really care about what then that'll make you,
hurt your confidence
and make you distracted in what you're saying. So
for sure.
Great point.
So
Anna.
I know those tips were a little bit all over the place, but I hope that y'all picked up a couple. Some breathing techniques that I like to do is you inhale for 4 seconds and you exhale for 8 seconds, and you can inhale for 5 seconds, exhale for 10 seconds. And I'm telling you, if you do that a few times, you can actually, if you have an Apple Watch, look at your watch, your heart rate comes down and you feel calmer. So sometimes I know whenever in the past I've had to be on bigger stages, I start like panicking, and I can actually, I've had anxiety attacks before, and they're very scary. And so when I feel myself getting worked up, if I do those breathing exercises, just breathe in 4 seconds, out 8 seconds, then you're just like, I feel better. And each breath gets a little bit better. And then you're focusing on your breathing and not that you're nervous as well. But yeah, I really struggled with this. It's funny that I'm in this career now, because even as a child, I am very introverted. I am very happy being alone with a book, a TV show, just anywhere. I'm very happy being alone. And so it's really hard for me to put myself out there, and we would go to like church or public, even family reunions, and people would try to talk to me, and I always just hid behind my mom. I was like, I don't want to talk to anyone. And it's not because I didn't love them or want to smile at them. It's just I panicked. So I really had to work on that growing up, getting out of my comfort zone and just really pushing myself to do better and to learn these things. And my speech and debate coach in high school, he really, really helped me by giving me breathing techniques, little exercises that we did. And now I don't really get that nervous anymore because I had to practice that muscle. But it wasn't a muscle that I just naturally had at all. So, you know.
But I'm glad you shared that, because if you don't have it and you're watching, you're like, I don't have, you can learn it. You can. It's possible. You know, you're able to learn these skills and techniques. Take those breathing exercises. Find your coach. Find somebody that can help you work on these things, because you can't run away and hide behind your mom, you know, forever.
Not when you're an adult.
Right? So I think that that's great, and that you have overcame that, because if you would have never said that, I would have never known. That's just how
everyone says.
Your confidence has grown and shining through, because I would have never known that about you. And I'm pretty sure people watching are probably thinking the same thing. So again, living proof right here. It is possible if you want to put the work in and learn those skills and grow your self-confidence.
And that's why we do this, because we want y'all to know that just because we're on TV, we're not these perfect communicators, perfect people. Like, we have really had to struggle to get where we are, but we've learned mechanisms to help us thrive, and we want y'all to feel that way as well. So do you ever get, you said you get social anxiety since being on TV. So like, what does that mean? Like, Do you get like awkward in a big crowd, or is it like one-on-one conversations? Like, when do you feel most uncomfortable?
In big crowds.
Yes.
In big crowd. I'm almost
Me
like
too.
running. I promise you.
No, run away, run away.
I am in the store and I am in a sprint. Like, I'm
Yeah.
walking really quickly, trying to grab everything, hurry up so I can get out. And I'm like, once I hit the exit, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can breathe again, you know. But being in the store and being around so many people, or like, I don't even go out anymore for real, like partying and stuff. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be around, like, just being around a crowd of people gives me like
Makes you
so
nervous.
much anxiety, makes me so nervous to the point where I'm like, I just rather stay at home, which I do prefer to stay at home. I like
I
you,
know.
when you
Me
mentioned, you
too.
said you like to be alone with a
Me
good book,
too.
a good TV show. That's
Yeah.
me. Like, I am a homebody. I'm in the house, but when I do get out, I like to go to quiet settings, you know, museums, places people aren't for real.
Right.
And you know, and then even on the busy days, I'm like, oh, it's too many people here, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just think that the crowds is what's like, I don't want to be in the mix.
So
you know?
we both have the same type of social anxiety, but some people are the opposite. You know, those people that are just really loud, drama queens,
Yes.
just like too much.
Yes.
They also are probably feeling nervous.
That's
that
true.
can be a sign of anxiety, oversharing. People that just cannot be quiet. Like, conversation's over, they're still just talking.
That makes a lot of sense.
They're also nervous on the inside. So growing up, I always kind of felt like I didn't get the book on like social interaction. Like, if I would go to a party or something, I felt weird, out of place. Like, I didn't know what to say, how to say it. Everybody else is having a great time, and you just feel awkward. You know that feeling I'm talking about?
No, I've never had that one, Anna. I'm
You
sorry.
never-
I never
yeah.
had that feeling, but I think that mine was more of, I'm in my own world, you know? And so I never had that
And now
feeling.
people, though, can, like, put themselves into your world.
And so now
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm in my own world. I think that's where it comes from, because I always been.
That makes a lot of
It's
sense.
just me, you know. I'm just hanging. Like, even if I did go out or hang out, I was like, oh, this is a great time. I'm having so much fun.
And then
now
somebody's
it's
like, hey, Aviana.
and I'm
you're
like,
like, oh.
you know.
Yeah,
I
that makes sense.
I just want to be in my own world and have my own fun, you
Yeah,
know? And so
absolutely.
I think now it's not that all the time for me anymore, but I'm learning how to live in a world where that's no longer normal. That's not my normal anymore. And I think that it's a part of us growing up, a part of us continuing in our career, because again, me and Anna are still very fresh into this. And so
Very.
I was not prepared for that. I was not at all. I was not expecting for people to, I guess, really want to talk to me, want to pay attention to, because honestly, I feel like, I'm not saying that I wasn't popular or whatever. Like, I never thought about myself like that in school. I had my few friends who were my friends. We hung out if we hung out, you know. So like, I always just, for me, I always felt like I was just in the background. Like, I'm here, but I'm
Right.
not in the mix of everything. And so
Right.
now I feel like I'm more in the mix, and I'm like, this is a little, I don't like
That's the
this.
same feeling I was
Okay,
talking about.
okay.
It's kind of like you feel like everybody else has it figured out, and you're just kind of there observing. Kind of like, not an outsider necessarily, but like, you're not the life of the party and the center of attention, and you're like, I wonder why I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But you're comfortable not
I would
being
say,
like
but
that.
I don't want to be that. So.
And now that we are on TV, more people start recognizing us, and that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah,
But I have some coping mechanisms for you.
I need them, Anna. Talk
Okay,
to me.
so whenever you're at a big event, okay, always go with somebody, whether it be like your sister, your best friend, like somebody who's close to you that really knows you, okay, and kind of have like a signal. I call them your social savior. So if you start feeling overwhelmed, you don't want to let yourself get to that point. So you just kind of like look at them or have a code word, and they know like, okay, this person's talking to her too much. I'm going to talk
Right.
to them and steer them away. That has helped me a lot. My husband's always my social savior. But also just like if you have a close friend or anybody, somebody that can help you out. And
Yeah.
if you don't have that, always just try to, like you said, like find a corner, kind of stay on the outskirts, and always have an excuse to get out of the conversation.
Every time.
So go into that event having that in your head, whether that's, now I don't have one. What could be a good excuse? Like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. That's a good one. I mean, nobody can ever argue with that one, but always have a
mom
way
is
to
calling.
get out. Yes, exactly. Now people's going to come talk to us, and we're going to say something like that. We're not going to do that to you. Like,
No,
I
we
promise.
wouldn't. But I do go in the store on the phone. I'm actually talking on the phone. Like I'm actually on the phone with somebody. Like that's my comfort. Like,
but
I'm
that's
like,
your comfort zone. That's a way you're able to cope with that social situation.
So now I don't feel like I'm in here feeling like I'm running from everybody. And it's so crazy because half of the time people probably really don't even be worrying about me at all. But it's just that feeling like, oh my gosh, so many eyes. Because sometimes it's like that. I can't get across the parking lot and you know, without it being, you know, and I'm like, it's great and it's wonderful. But again, I'm not used to that. So it's almost like a little overwhelming if it's every single time, you know, you head to the store and just do anything, like I said, normal daily activities that are not so normal anymore. So I get on the phone, I'm talking to somebody, I'm having a conversation, or I have my headphones on or in, you know, listening to music to kind of bring me some comfort and calm me down, like while I grocery shop or, like I said, whatever daily task I have to do.
And if you are one of those people that have social anxiety, but you are more comfortable in a group, but you find yourself oversharing or being the loudest one in the group, that's okay. Do that. But also have somebody in your friend group that can say, hey, you're getting a little too loud. Like, I can tell that you're not comfortable in this situation anymore. Because I think that people automatically think that you have to be shy or introverted to have social anxiety,
and
that's not true. It presents itself in many ways, and then you can better understand people and maybe have more compassion for people. If you're out in an environment and you're like, oh my goodness, I wish that person would just be quiet. Why are they being so loud? Maybe they're feeling uncomfortable on the inside too, but they present that in a different way because everybody has very different personalities.
And I think that can dive into something, you know, way deeper too. You know, maybe this person is going through something. It's the only way they can, you know, express themselves or get that feeling off of them. So you just never know. So I always think you should treat people with that compassion and never really just judge or talk about people because you don't know what they're dealing with or what they're going through in their own personal daily lives. So I'm looking at the chat here. We got some love in the comments. Thank you all so much. Always, you all are so sweet to us. We just hope you all are having a brighter day with us and continue to do that. Hopefully we gave you all some great tips. Anna, you got anything else you want to add?
I think at the end I just said, don't try to not be yourself. If you know that you're more comfortable in smaller environments, you know, reading a book at home, that is perfectly fine. There's multiple personality types. If you know you're that person that's going to be super loud at a party and get a little out of hand because you're feeling uncomfortable, so you're trying to overcompensate and be the life of the party, know yourself. That's okay. Just know how. If you know your personality, which I was telling you about the Enneagram.
Yes, you are.
She didn't know about the Enneagram, but if you don't know about it, it's a personality test. You can take it online. You can literally Google like Enneagram personality quiz. And like I know I'm a 4-wing 5, and it tells you all these things after you answer all these questions. And I'm telling you, it is right on the money. But it has helped me be able to understand myself better, so that I don't put myself in situations that I'm extremely uncomfortable in, that I don't have to do these things. So I think it's all about knowing yourself, knowing your boundaries, knowing who you are, and making sure that you surround yourself with people who can help you feel comfortable in a social situation, or if you are even public speaking, you can imagine those people and speak to them. But like I said, always make sure you're the classiest version of yourself when you're speaking to those people. So that's how I have learned to communicate. I'm doing so good so far.
You're doing
Somehow
great.
I got this job.
You're doing great, Anna. You're doing a great job. That's why I say if you would have never shared that today, I would have never known. That's just how beautiful that you are. Your process is flourishing and continue to flourish as you take those steps. And again, it's work. You have to do the work in order to get the results.
Work
and
the muscle.
You have to be willing to do that and take that step and say, well, I lack this. And again, that goes back to knowing yourself, identifying what you need to work on within yourself, and just putting the work to do that. And I think it goes our episodes are coming back into play here because also in that when you hit a key point about not doing something or trying to overcompensate or putting yourself in situations where you know you're not as comfortable in, say no. Just say no. If you don't want to go to that party because you've been to the last two and you're like, this not really my speed, say no.
It's okay.
It's okay to say no to people and just disagree with what they have going on completely if it doesn't align with you, if it doesn't align with your morals, your values of how you view your life in the future, you know, because we are getting older. And I know some of us are on here probably younger, older, already done lived a great life. But I know for us, we're still in our early 20s, late 20s, and we are, you know, still learning ourselves more and more each day. And I don't never think it's an age on you being able able to
Never.
learn yourself, change something
And to
about
improve.
you, or there
Yeah.
you go. You took the word, girl.
I'm
You know what I was about to say, but exactly, improve on who you are. There's no age limit on that. So being able to say no, finding that confidence, and finding what best fits you is what life is all about. So I hope that was beautifully said, Anna. There. I hope that if you all take those tips and advice and apply it to your life, I know we are going to. Anna that gave me some great tips to apply as I continue to boost my self-confidence and learn about myself as well. And I'm going to take the quiz. I actually started on it, but I didn't give myself enough time to finish it.
It takes you a little while.
So you need about, I will say about 30 minutes just to break it down, because some of the questions you may have to think a little bit on, but
no,
don't think too much.
Think.
Oh, that's right.
It's your first reaction.
Sorry. Don't think about it too. Don't think about it too.
Don't overthink. Don't overthink.
Don't overthink it. Sorry, my bad. Don't take my advice. I'm a hush. I haven't took the quiz yet. I haven't took the quiz yet.
Aviana's like,
oh, my bad. Don't overthink it.
You don't have to take the quiz. There's all kinds
it.
of personality quizzes.
True.
That's just the one.
You know, they used to be in little magazines, like like little magazine stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder, do they still have it? I wonder.
I don't know. What was the other? I think it's called Myers-Briggs. I may sound really dumb
don't
right now.
don't ask
But
me.
anyway, there's multiple personality quizzes, but pretty much they're just psychological, so that you can know yourself better. Because if that's your first instinct, then you kind of like fit into a certain. Not that you fit into that mold perfectly, but
It'll
you
give
have
you an idea.
tendencies. Yeah. So then you can kind of know what your personality is.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all got any questions? You can always send us questions. Any topics that you want us to talk about? We would really love some topics.
Yes, please give us some ideas on what you want us to see, what you want us to talk about next.
What you want to know.
One thing me and Anna are struggling with is coming up with topics.
Yes.
Each week we try to give you all the best topics that we possibly can. So anything that you want to hear, anything that you want us to discuss further, if you want to be a guest on A&A, again, we're welcoming all of that. So you can drop it in the chat, you can email us. We are looking forward to that, so hopefully you all do so. If you have been on the episodes with us from day one all the way to now, this episode 7, Anna.
I know.
Wow, episode 7. So hopefully you all are, tuning in and watching and learning and growing with us as well. We really do appreciate you. We appreciate MCC for sponsoring this digital
we do.
Yes, to keep us connected with you all, to share our advice and our tips on just life in general. So, and continue to, hopefully you all have a brighter day. So again, comments please.
Yes.
On what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want us to talk about.
Any questions?
If you have a story you want to share, we're open to that as well.
Yep.
Just send us an email, send us a Facebook message. You can drop it in the comments. Just make sure you tag our name so we can see it quicker. And again, I think that'll do it for me, Anna.
Thank y'all so much for watching.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. I really know I've grown a lot through these conversations already.
Me
so.
too. Learning a lot. Not only about our viewers who are watching, because we have a lot of great comments sometimes in the chat. You all just supporting us, especially from episode 1 to now. Just always encouraging us and keeping us. That keeps us going, honestly. I know it does for me, for sure.
It does.
And so it keeps us going and keep us like, okay, Anna, we gotta figure out a topic.
We gotta get this together.
Because we could easily just say we don't have a topic, we don't have a show, but we always make sure that we try to find something to bring to you all, because we know that you all are loving and supporting us, and we want to continue to do that for you as well. Yes. And I'm actually learning so much about Anna in the process, so I think all around,
I'm learning so much about you.
Thank you, Anna. I think all around this has been such a wonderful experience so far, and we're going to continue it. So just make sure if you have any ideas, we see a comment, I have a great story, just drop it in the chat, email us again, and we will be open to all conversations to be had. Thank you all so much. I want to say A&A is
out.